Guardianmo's back online. Welcome back to the channel, guys. So I felt like I had to make a video highlighting this article, this case that I read about this morning. I found it absolutely infuriating, and I'm sure you will as well. Do you remember the guy who stood outside a Turkish embassy in London? He took out a copy of the Quran, he started burning it, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, this other guy jumps at him, pushes him to the ground, takes out a kitchen knife and starts slashing at him. He kicks him in the face, spits at his face, physically assaults him, and guess what? This guy, the guy who was burning the Quran, he's been found guilty of a religiously aggravated public order offence. Hamit Koskun, age 50, shouted abusive comments about Islam as he held a flaming book aloft in Knightsbridge on the 13th of February. On Monday, he was found guilty at Westminster Magistrates Court of the offence of using disorderly behaviour, of the offence of causing harassment, alarm and distress. He's been fined £240 with a statutory surcharge of £96. This is the most frustrating part. The district judge said that his conduct was provocative and taunting and told him you have a deep-seated hatred of Islam and its followers. Your actions in burning the Quran were highly provocative. Your actions were accompanied by bad language. So whilst he was burning the Quran, he was yelling "F Islam." Islam is the religion of hatred. It's an evil ideology. It's the religion of extremists and radicals and this and that. So in some cases directed towards the religion and were motivated at least in part by the hatred of followers of the religion. So the most frustrating part I find is that this guy, he burnt the Quran, he's been found guilty of religious aggravation, harassment, alarm, distress, fined £240. But meanwhile, the other guy, who was pulled out that kitchen knife and was slashing at him and physically assaulting him, he hasn't been presented with any charges. As far as I'm concerned, he's deemed an innocent man in the eyes of the judicial system. He's walking free out on the streets. He hasn't been taken to court for taking out a kitchen knife and slashing at this guy. From the information that I gathered, this is absolutely ridiculous. From the information that I gathered, this guy was born in Turkey. He's half Kurdish, half Armenian. And the sole purpose of him being at that Turkish embassy for burning the Quran, he was protesting against the Turkish President Erdogan, of creating an Islamist government, of establishing an Islamist government regime, making the country of Turkey a base for radical Islamists, and is trying to establish a Sharia regime. That's what his sole purpose of being there was for. That's why he was burning the Quran. So straight out the bat, I would never condone this kind of act. I would never encourage anyone I associate with, my family, my friends, anyone in the United Kingdom movement, any Christians, to be burning a religious text. I think it's just simply not a very sensible thing to do. But having said that, I will defend this man's freedom of expression. Supposedly, this should be a country that should be championing freedom of expression. I mean, he wasn't doing anything wrong. As far as I know, this is not a criminal offence. There is no law prohibiting you or anyone else from burning a religious text. He was simply exercising his right to freedom of speech. Obviously, this is a very kind of controversial act of burning a religious text. But obviously our judicial system says otherwise. So they found him guilty of religious aggravation and causing harassment, alarm, and distress. Meanwhile, on the other hand, this other guy who pulls out a kitchen knife, no charges whatsoever. Nothing. Hasn't been taken to court. This just two-tier policing done at its finest. This is a complete juxtaposition of the treatment between these two individuals. And in my personal opinion, I find that this is what the government and the judicial system are doing. This is a backdoor tactic to be reintroducing blasphemy laws. This is a very controversial topic, I know, but the message that the government are trying to send is that we're not overtly reintroducing blasphemy laws ever since they were outlawed in 2008. But what we're going to do is forget about Sharia law, which can subtly slide in these kinds of blasphemy laws by using harassment, alarm and distress as an excuse to direct charges against anyone who dares to criticize the religion of peace. What they're basically, the message that they're basically sending, anyone who's submitted to the religion of peace, who is reading this article, they'll be incentivized to pull out a kitchen knife and to physically assault anyone who criticizes their religious beliefs. They'll be reading this and they'll be thinking, oh, well, this is what the government and our judicial system is trying to say. Is that anyone who I encounter who criticizes my religious beliefs, who utters a single word of criticism against the religion of peace, I can pull out my kitchen knife, I can just physically assault him, I can spit in his face, I can kick him in the face, I can physically assault him however I please, and I will be deemed innocent in the eyes of the judges. I will not be taken to court. There will be no charges levied against me. I can do anything I please against this man who's just criticised my religion of peace, my religious beliefs. This is absolutely ridiculous. This just incentivizes this victim culture mentality. It just incentivizes people who are receiving criticism against their religious beliefs to cry wolf, play the victim card, and call out reports of harassment, alarm, and distress, and call the police on people like that. This is just a blatant misuse and abuse of our law system. Why is it that this one ideology can't be criticised? Just imagine, this guy was burning another religious text outside the Quran. He's burning the Veda text, belongs to the Hindu religion, the Jewish Torah, the Holy Bible, the New Testament. Just imagine, do you honestly think he would be found guilty, persecuted, subjugated in this exact manner as this guy did for burning the Quran? I don't think so. I think this was done intentionally. This judge was defending the actions of this guy who pulled out that kitchen knife. It was done intentionally, solely because it was the religion of peace that was being criticised against. It's this single ideology that our politicians pander to, that our judicial system has made constant appeasements towards members of the religion of peace. This single ideology that is responsible for honour killings, terrorist acts, terrorist incidents, sexual exploitation of women, grooming gangs, child trafficking, the most inhumane treatment of animals, halal slaughter, cousin marriages. I could go on and on. There is an endless list that this single ideology is solely responsible for, the most horrifying acts. And this is what our judges are doing, using backdoor tactics to reintroduce blasphemy laws and to defend the religion of peace. This has absolutely gone out of control. It's absolutely ridiculous. And tell you what, I'm actually surprised that this guy wasn't locked up behind bars. He'd be sitting alongside Lucy Connolly at this stage. He'd be another example of a political prisoner, swimming in the pool of political prisoners that are being locked up for mean tweets, hurty words, exercising their right to freedom of speech. We are truly becoming a dictatorial, totalitarian, Orwellian state under the iron fist dictatorship leadership style of Keir Starmer. This is truly terrifying. Truly, truly terrifying. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching until the end of the video. If you find it insulting, if you find this infuriating and distressing to watch and to read this article, well, be sure to leave your comments down below and share your opinions. This is Guardian Most Clocking out. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.